Chapter 27. Unknown Futures. They didn't tell anyone that he had made the deal with the wind element. It would draw unwanted attention in the knowledge that the wind had made a contract with someone was there, more people would be after him. There were a lot of people already after him. The major threat has been Akatsuki. He often wondered if he should consider Tayayu to be a threat. She was very physical and very horny, which often distracted him. He didn't know what it was lately, but she was more clingy than she usually was. He didn't know what was going on, but he knew that every time she seemed to see him she was trying to get his pants off of him. He was laying in their bed, she was cuddling into his chest as she slept, making a smile creep onto his face. Suddenly she shot up and ran to the bathroom. All he heard was a vomiting sound. He had grown worried about Tayayu, so he sent a shadow clone to retrieve Tsunade. Tsunade came eventually. Naruto knew that since the two didn't exactly get along, she was more or less making them wait on purpose. Eventually she made it there and received a scowl from Naruto. "I asked for you to come 2 hours ago." The fifth Hokage shrugged. "I am a very busy person, Naruto." Naruto just glared some more. "I had my clone follow you. You weren't busy, you stopped to eat and chat with your friends before coming here. She is a kunoichi for Konohagakure. You are not supposed to treat your subordinates like this. What if she is really sick?" Normally he wouldn't react like this with Tsunade, but his mother figure had crossed a line in his mind. She may have put the woman he loves at risk. This was something that he was not okay with. Tsunade sighed. "Fine. I am sorry, all right. Next time the annoying pain in my ass isn't feeling well, I will rush right over." He was emitting a growling sound. "Do not mock me." The elder woman just looked at him, then Tayayu came out of their bedroom. "Naruto-kun, calm down." He looked over at Tayayu. He had told her to lay down and stay there. Naruto went over to her and put his hand on her forehead. "Tayayu-chan, you're supposed to be laying down and resting." She rolled her eyes. "How am I supposed to be resting with you out here screaming at the old hag?" Naruto just gave her a kind smile, then picked her up and carried her to their room. Tsunade followed after them as he gently laid her down, them both smiling lightly at one another. Tsunade pulled her chakra into her hand, then came and examined Tayayu. At the end of it she just sighed. "I should have known this would happen eventually." Both of the younger shinobi just looked over at her, wondering what she was actually meaning. Tsunade just looked at them. "She has been throwing up, extremely temperamental and horny, right?" They both just nodded, then Tsunade rubbed her temples. "Your dumb ass knocked her up." They both froze, their eyes widening at the realization that Tayayu was pregnant with their child. Naruto slowly broke into a large smile as he looked over at Tayayu, who still was wearing a shocked face. He gently brushed the hair out of her face, bringing her back to reality to look at Naruto. He was still smiling at her as he kissed her forehead. "We are going to have a child, Tayayu-chan." She just looked at his smile and smiled back. "Yeah, I can hear, shithead. I know what she said." Naruto smiled at her reaction. It's not like he wasn't expecting some kind of response along those lines from her. He leaned down and kissed her lips softly as he rubbed her cheek. "You need to rest now, understand?" She nodded her head as she looked at him. He was walking with Tsunade. When they got to the door he stopped her. "Your grandma was a Jinchuriki when she had kids. My mother was Jinchuriki when she had me. What should I expect my child to be like? What will Tayayu have to go through with carrying the child in labor?" Tsunade saw that he was genuinely concerned about Tayayu and his unborn child. Though the child was still being developed, her best estimate was that she had been pregnant for about 2 months. The fifth Hokage just looked at her son figure. "It should be like any other pregnancy. They were both women Jinchuriki before you, and when a female Jinchuriki goes into labor their seals weaken. That isn't the issue here. The only thing that is really a concern is what the child will get from you and the Kyuubi." Naruto nodded her head at her. "I will talk with Kurama tonight, see what to expect." "But you think that Tayayu-chan will be fine, that nothing bad will happen to her since I am the Jinchuriki?" She just nodded her head at him, making it so that he gave a sigh of relief and visibly relax. She nodded her head at him and left their apartment while Naruto just continued to stand there for a couple of minutes. This was a lot of information to process at one time, but he was happy. He was happy that he was going to have a child, that he and the woman he loved would have a child together. He pushed himself off of the wall and went to the bedroom, standing in the doorway as he watched his red-headed lover sleep. She had knocked out basically as soon as he said that she should rest. He smiled some more as he just stared at her sleeping form, wondering what she was dreaming about. Tayayu opened the door to an unknown house, though she knew that it was somewhere she was supposed to be. Just looking at the house made her smile and have a burning sensation in her chest that she normally only gets in the presence of a certain blonde bastard that she loved. When Tayayu opened the door she saw that the home was fully furnished. She put up her coat she was wearing and looked in the mirror and looked older than she really was. She shook it off as sleep deprivation and moved on. As she was walking through the home she noticed little things, like a couch looked like the one they had or a lamp. Then she saw a picture that made her eyes widen. In the picture was Naruto in a tuxedo and she in a white dress. They both were smiling as they had the picture taken, but there were also rings on their fingers. She looked down at her hand and saw that there was the same ring on her finger now. She started to breathe quickly as she looked around, piecing it all together quickly. This was their home, as a married couple. She looked at another picture to see a little girl with red hair and blue eyes. The small girl was smiling a wide smile as she was having her picture taken. For some reason this brought a form of pride to her, then she realized this is what she was picturing her unborn child to look like. She continued to look around the home, then the front door opened, grabbing her attention. She looked over to see Naruto and a small red blur running into the home. She was tackled by the blur. She looked to see her daughter smiling at her. "Hi mommy." Tayayu smiled at her. Then Naruto came and picked her up off of Tayayu. "Carrie, don't tackle your mother, you know not to do that." She just reached and grabbed her daughter's arm and Naruto's hand, making him release her as she hugged her daughter. The older version of Naruto just smiled at the image as she looked up at him. She wondered if her Naruto would look like him when he would be older. She smiled back at him as she held her daughter, Carrie. Her daughter just looked at her and smiled some more. "Yes mommy." Tayayu just hugged her some more. She liked the idea of having a daughter to spoil, having her blonde idiot there for her for the rest of her life. She just wanted to stay asleep, in her little world where it all already happened. Unfortunately that was when she woke up, her head where it always was and resting on Naruto's shoulder. She cuddled into him more, her actions waking him up. Naruto just looked over at her and gave her a small smile. "Hello there Tayayu-chan, you seemed like you were having a nice dream. You had the most beautiful smile." She blushed and punched him in the side, effectively kidney punching him. He groaned as he looked at her. "Why'd I even try to compliment you anymore Tayayu-chan? All you ever do is hit me." Tayayu leaned up and gave him a quick kiss. "I did have a nice dream, so you know, and if you were smart you would keep complimenting me. Women like to be complimented, and since I am pregnant I will be more hormonal. All because you couldn't keep it in your damn pants." He had a baffled look on his face. "Wait, what? WHO couldn't keep what in whose pants?" She smiled at him as she climbed on top of him. "I said that you couldn't keep your wonderful penis in your awful pants." Naruto's eyebrow rose at this. "What the hell? You're horny right now, aren't you?" The red head on top of him just nodded her head at him. "Strip right now." Naruto just gave a small sigh, then nodded his head at her, quickly removing his pants, and before he even had his off she was completely naked. He was apparently taking too long and decided that she was going to help him out, removing his boxers as well. He sighed a bit. He was running out of clothes because of this woman and her unquenchable need to make love. She got what she needed for the time being and then she went back to sleep. Naruto figured that she was having the same dream since she was wearing that smile again. The smile made him smile and he leaned in and kissed her forehead. "Good night to Tayayu-chan, I hope that you are having a nice dream again." He laid his head back, still smiling as he put his hand up and the window opened with his new powers. That was when he looked back over at Tayayu and down at her stomach before rubbing it gently. "I will make this world safe by the time that you are born. I will make sure that you don't have to worry about growing up without your mom or dad. I will make sure that you will always be happy for the rest of your life." Naruto rubbed her stomach a little more, wanting to do it for a lot longer, but it was starting to disturb Tayuya's sleep. He knew better than to wake her while they slept, even more so when they had just made love and she was really tired. He just smiled at her as he looked at her some more. "Thank you so much Tayayu-chan, you have given me what I have always wanted. Even if you don't realize just how much I have wanted it. I will make you happy for as long as you let me." I will stop screwing up so much, you'll see. Naruto just looked at her, then slowly he let sleep claim him. He enjoyed his dream that he had. His dream was very similar to the one that Tayayu was having. Dreaming of the life that he hoped that they had, with a little hellion running around causing everyone headaches. That she would say yes if he asked her to be his wife, that they had more than one child and they lived to be old. When they woke up he was wondering if that was the life that they would lead or not. To be continued.